Yo, what's up, guys? Can you hear me? What's up, Bobo? What's up, hashtag Riki? What's up, 5H INOB? Awesome, awesome. Good to see you guys. Let me see. I haven't gone live in a good second, so I just gotta make sure everything is optimized. See this chat and stuff. Yo, you guys excited? Cause we're about to have about to start these debates. Let me get this link put in the chat. Do I have any moderators on my YouTube channel here? Who wants to be a moderator? We'll recruit some new moderators for the year. Gee, let me do this. Yeah, good to see you guys. Discord. Let me get this Discord link put in the chat here. Who wants to be a moderator on the YouTube? We're gonna really start doing this YouTube stuff consistently, so there's gonna be at least like 3 YouTube live streams every week. We got the debates. Hold on. Yeah, we got debates. I'm trying to get this mic. Is the mic loud? It's reading on my end. It's a little bit loud. Let me turn this down. There we go. I think that's good. Yo, so we'll do the debates, Q&As, and then the actual live streams working on Mark 5. Saw the video of Dr. Parkenstein. Hey, I'll be seeing him again pretty soon. I'll be going out to Texas. You said you'll be the mod. All right, K-Cell. I think you already are a mod or something. Or it says you're a top fan. Okay, that's what that little symbol is. Hey, thank you for being a top fan. Definitely make you a mod. Let's see. Yeah. All right. Lo que haces es genial, hermano. Y me encanta que lo hagas todo desde tu corazón. Gracias, hashtag Ricky. Mucho amor para ti, hermano. Agradezco. Yo, okay, I got you. Yeah. All right, so shoot, look, I'm already a little bit behind. I gotta get this Discord thing started. Hold on. You bought the deodorant. Thank you, Bobo. Hey, we're about to get this deodorant on Amazon. All right, let's see. Let's get this thing on Discord started. All right, let's see. Hold on. All right, Discord. Switch this up here. Okay, boom. Okay. Hey, welcome everybody in Discord. Actually, I don't think they can hear me in Discord. Hold on. Let me fix this. Hello? Hey, can you guys hear me in Discord? Yeah, you can. All right. What's up? Welcome, everybody. All right, so look, we're live on YouTube, okay? And everybody on YouTube, here's how this is going to work, right? And this you guys are too on Discord, but primarily, especially people on YouTube. So you guys on YouTube, I pinned the link to join the Discord in the YouTube chat, okay? And so if you want to be able to be in the Discord, because this is how you actually can participate in the debate or the critical conversation, or if you have a question or a critical thing that you want to ask, you have to actually be a part of the Discord. And so you have to click that link, join. I think you have to make an account, blah, blah, blah. And then you can join in through the live Q&A VC that we have here. And for people in Discord, there's just a few things I want to go over. And that is that, of course, when it comes to this, make sure you stay on topic with Pyrolysis. Thank you, Fez the Moose, for becoming a Pyrolysis tribe member on YouTube. Yeah, so make sure you stay on topic with Pyrolysis. Make sure you stay respectful. If you are able to turn your camera on, that's much better. That's eventually going to be like the hard rule, because it's an easy way to prevent trolls. Just random people that want to just come about. You have to turn your camera on. And then you just have to raise your hand. Have your question ready. I think I can actually turn my camera on. I have 2 cameras. I might be able to turn one on the Discord here too. Let me see if I can, because I got another camera. It must not be plugged in. Hold on. Give me 1 second, YouTube. I'm going to see if I can do this. If I can turn my camera on for Discord here. But yeah, in the meantime, guys, on Discord, if you have your question, raise your hand, and I'll let you up. And then we'll get started with this thing. All right, I got the camera plugged in, so I should be able to turn this camera on in. Okay, you said you're nude though. Okay, well, what's that dude's name? VW Poa. Okay, well, if you're nude, you see, and that's exactly why we have this camera rule, because I don't know if I want to be debating against somebody nude anyway. Right? I'm not Sean Combs. Now, let me get my camera on. Yeah, that's for a different type of stream. And that's not this live stream. That's for a different type of stream with a different type of person. And it ain't me, I'll tell you that. Let's see. Okay, I don't know what's going on. It's not loading on the Discord, my camera. But anyways, all right, we got somebody here. Let's see, how do I let them up? Okay, here we go. Yeah, it won't let me start my camera on here. All right. VC. Hey, how are you doing? Let me see. I don't know if I can hear you. Say something. Can you guys in the Discord hear him, or is it just me? Let me make sure that I have this set up to the right output device. Oh, great. No, you guys can't hear him? Because all of the Discord sounds are working for me. Yeah, so we can see you, VC. Thank you for being the first person up. We cannot hear you, though. K-Cell, you said, I definitely want to try some of your deodorant and mosquito repellent. Hey, you should, man. It's great stuff. Jabaroma.com. You know. I guess VC has to reconnect. Hey, but thank you for showing up. I wanted to show you guys while we're waiting on the next person up, or for VC to fix his stuff. But the people on YouTube, look. So what we got is so Jabaroma, right? Obviously, those of you that may not know, this is my natural products brand. I make natural deodorant, bug repellent, all these things, and it's 5-star rated, over 200 reviews. But here's the thing: so this stuff comes in plastic. But when you use it, you can send the plastic back to me this empty. You get 10% off for life by doing that. And also, 10% of the profits of Jabaroma go directly to Nature Jab and contribute to the Plastic and the Fuel mission. So, that's a great way you can support. Or you can also go to naturejab.com/Mark5, which I have up here on the screen. And that's a way you can actually look at different options. We have an Amazon list for the Mark V reactor. So I guess for now, what we'll do, we'll just let you guys up. You don't have to turn your camera on. Maybe we'll see how it goes. All right. I implemented that rule initially for trolls. If we do have trolls, then we'll have to implement it again. But for the moment, if you like to make your way up, you don't necessarily have to. VC's back up. All right, let's see. We get VC in. Hey, VC. No audio. No audio still. Hashtag said you're downloading Discord right now. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Can you guys in the Discord chat?
Hello,
Oh,
testing
there we
one, two,
go. There
three.
we go. All right, VC, we can hear
Uh,
you.
I'm so glad I can meet you. It's an honor, honestly.
Thank you. Yeah, and
Uh,
I'm glad to have you up, and it's an honor to have you be the first person here at the first ever critical conversation. So thank you.
oh, thank you. I would just love to talk about all the options that we probably have with pyrolysis and clean energy generation. There's all kinds of technologies like geothermal that are already available
Yeah.
to expedite the cleaning of the planet.
Yes. Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
think with what I put in the Discord chat, that may enlighten some of you on technologies that already exist, such as the crystal radio. Research the crystal radio for free electricity generation. That thing doesn't take an input; it just uses the electromagnetic waves as its energy source to the headphones.
Oh, hold on. They said they have an echo on YouTube. Let me turn this down.
That's all I have to say.
Oh, that's all you have to say. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, VC. I gotta turn this freaking audio down. But yeah, thank you. We got somebody else to make it up. Justin Hale. All right. Now this is a reminder that ideally we are here for debate. You said use headphones. I do have some headphones. I gotta plug them in. But I can turn the audio down. It shouldn't echo that bad for now. All right, Justin. Hello.
Hey, you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you guys on YouTube hear Justin fine? Yeah, we're good. We can hear you.
Very nice, very nice. How you been doing, Jeff?
Hey, I've been good. I've been busy working on Mark V. But just trying to get back into connecting with the community and all with these things. So I've been good, man.
Have you heard of the person that's making solar panels made out of like a cellulose material that harnesses light energy even with clouds?
I Wait a minute. It's like a green solar panel, right? And it's a guy from the
I think
Philippines.
so.
And then didn't maybe it was somebody else, but one of those people died all of a sudden, or something. It was some. I remember seeing like a green solar panel that could harvest like moonlight or something too.
Oh. Yeah, I was just seeing if you had heard about the solar panel that does that.
Yeah, I haven't done much research into it myself, but if we're talking about the same thing, then yeah, I have. Did you have any type of question about the process? My process, particular?
I mean, I know a lot about your process. You've told us a lot about it. Um, but the Mark V, you're gonna make it smaller, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be smaller and it's gonna be implemented onto a bus. I have a little picture. Let me see if I can put it in the chat of what Mark V is gonna look like. But it's gonna be implemented
What
into
do
a
you think
bus.
the output of it's gonna be?
I think the output is actually gonna be I'm shooting for about the same as Mark 4.5. So I'm shooting for I want to be able to make like at least 15-20 gallons a day. Of course, it's all going to be based off of how much plastic you can get, but I want to get the machine. I want to make it a lot more optimized versus like the previous machines. So like Mark 4.5 was a big machine. It was 9 foot long, but despite that, it wasn't optimized, meaning that I would run into a lot of technical difficulties while operating the machine that would cause it to not be able to function continuously all day. And the idea is if like Mark V, on this trailer, I pull up to a spot with a lot of plastic, I operate it all day. In theory, I should be able to process, a lot of plastic and make a decent amount of fuel because it's running truly continuously.
Are you gonna get rid of all your like sealant stuff that you have to use, and are you gonna make it sealable without sealant, or 'cause that
Uh,
that seemed like what was your problem, wasn't it? It's like you were blowing through all your sealant stuff, wasn't it?
No. The problem that I had was Mark 4.5. A lot of things that were built by hand should have been built by proper machinery. Because a lot of these things had tolerances that were affecting how things could seal. So, for example, like the auger
Yeah.
blades on the inside that were moving the plastic around, those were built by hand, which was throwing off the tolerances of the sealing shafts, which was causing the whole machine to almost be impossible to have under proper vacuum, which took away from efficiency, and then which also contributed to at some points not being able to run the machine consistently for a long period of time. So there were a lot of things like that, but yeah, we're gonna get somebody else in here because we got a few other people with their hands raised. But thank you, Justin.
One love, Nature Job. I love you. Have a good night.
Hey, man, you as well, and thank you. Great, I forgot how to do this. It's been a second since.
Yeah, let me see if I can do it for you. There we go. Oh no, I did the video on it.
Wait a minute. No, I gotta figure this out anyway. Wait, don't do it for me, because if I need to actually kick somebody out, I need to know how. Oh, here we go. Move to audience. Hey, yeah, guys, let's get some likes in the stream. A shout out to Justin. Great question there. 62 watching, only 51 likes. Let's get the likes. Hey, thank you, Dragon Tamer. You said Archive asked, what do you think of benzene? Hey, that's a great question. And Archive, you could actually come in here and ask that question as well. If you like, we have the link pinned. All right, I'm going to let up. I don't even know how to say your name. It starts with an SP. SPQ. We'll let up SPQ.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, SPQ, how you doing?
Hello, yeah, pretty good. I'm Alan, just got back from work. Oh, I do want to turn my camera on. Hello. So I actually also have the question on benzene, but it's very specific, so sorry if I double ask whatever. So I actually really like your plastic diesel, and I believe in your plastic diesel, the benzene content will be very minimal because the boiling point difference between benzene and diesel, I think it's like almost double. So I have very high confidence that your plastic diesel will be benzene free. But for plastoline, like gasoline, the boiling point between benzene and gasoline is so similar. So my question is, how do you make sure that in gasoline the amount of benzene is less than tiny enough?
Yeah, hey, that's a great question, and I completely agree with you on the plastic diesel side of things. In fact, I had gone over that in a video. I think it was almost
Yeah,
2
I
years
saw the
ago at
lab
this
results
point.
and stuff.
Yeah, when we were talking about how the boiling point of the plastic diesel is so high versus what benzene is. So for those of you, just to give a quick little educational point on all this, when it comes to distillation, and first of all, what is benzene? Because we'll say that. We'll start with that because not everybody knows what benzene is. So benzene is a product that is found in petroleum, in crude oil, that is actually a widely used chemical feedstock in a ton of things. But it's one of the things that we try to remove as much as we can from like gasoline, from fuels, for example. And so gasoline usually is, out of all the fuels between diesel, jet fuel, and gasoline, gasoline has the highest content of benzene because benzene has a similar boiling point range to gasoline. And all that means is that when we take crude oil and we're refining it through distillation, which is when you basically have it in this gigantic chamber, almost like a gigantic pot that is covered and has pipes coming off of it, and you heat it up, you boil the crude oil inside, you have vapors come off of that crude oil, right? And at certain temperatures, you're gonna have certain vapors of certain fuels. So at, like, let's say for example, about 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 C, you're gonna have gasoline vapors come up. Those gasoline vapors will boil off, they'll cool down, and then they'll condense and become gasoline again. But at the same temperature range of around 100 degrees Celsius or 200 degrees Fahrenheit, you're going to also have benzene around that same range. And that's the exact way how plastoline works. So I get the plastic crude oil, which is really a mix of like gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel, and then I refine it through fractional distillation, just like we do in refiners. and that's how I end up getting, plastoline, plastodiesel, plastojet fuel. But then, just like SQ asked here, well, benzene is going to come over at the same temperature as the plastoline does. While that's not an issue for plastodiesel and the plastojet fuel, just like in the regular gasoline industry, that is an issue for plastoline. So to answer your question, SQ, I look at it like this. We don't know as it stands the exact amount of benzene in the plastoline, because I have not had a full spectrum analysis done on it at this moment. However, whenever we figure out what that amount is, to me, I believe that the solution is going to be pretty simple, or not simple, but similar to what's already being done in the industry, because you guys said the volume is low. Let me see. Oh, on the mic. Let me turn the mic up. Yeah. So what I was saying is, so in the industry as is, they have to deal with benzene anyway, right? So they have certain methods of dealing with benzene. I remember one person was actually telling me something about you could do a catalytic reaction with lime, calcium oxide, for example. There's certain hydrogenation reactions you can do. Now, some of these things can start to become complex and require like catalytic cracking reactors, like whole separate processes, pretty much, to deal with. However, here's the thing to me. I think that's the most important thing we need to figure out first, like what is the amount and how much, because here's the thing about benzene. Benzene is actually a base chemical, meaning that it is used in almost a little bit of everything, to be honest. Like I think even some paints have benzene in them. It's a very, very commonly used chemical feedstock for things. And so I almost kind of see that as a benefit in a way, because think about it. We're able to take plastic, let's say it was in the ocean. Okay, it was in the ocean, and it was breaking down into microplastics, polluting all the creatures and things. And even if we can't necessarily turn that product into fuel, the benzene product, it can at least be turned into other useful chemical parts, and it still is recycling, right? Because in my eyes, the most important thing is to get rid of the plastic and create something useful out of it. And benzene is super useful. So once we figure out what that number is, whatever the percentage is, that will dictate how usable the plastoline is as a fuel. But even if it can't be used as a fuel, it could be used as so many other things if it has a high benzene concentration. Great question.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. That basically answers it.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Take care. We'll get on to next person here. Doob. You said, yeah, some paints and lacquers use benzene. Benzene, hey, so, and also I forgot to mention when I was explaining what benzene is, the reason why benzene is usually something you want to get out of gasoline is because benzene in itself is carcinogenic. And now that does not mean the combustion of benzene is carcinogenic, but the benzene is. So that means, for example, if you're pumping gasoline, right? You always, the vapors always fly it when you're pumping it or when you're pouring it. That means that those vapors are going to be more carcinogenic. Now, of course, we all know if you're huffing gasoline every day, even as it stands, you're probably going to get cancer, right? But, and that's the best gasoline at the pump that there is. But obviously, you want to make it as the least amount carcinogenic as possible. So that's the reason why benzene is something we want out of gasoline. If you burn benzene under complete combustion, it ends up being CO2 and water vapor, just like hydrogen, or just like, clean combustion of any hydrocarbon will end up kind of resulting in just CO2 and water vapor if you have an efficient engine and efficient combustion. But it's more of all the use cases up to when you're burning it, like when you're pumping it, or if it spills and there's vapors everywhere. You really ideally would not want to be breathing gasoline with a higher benzene content in. And before we let up, I think he put his hand down or he left. All right, we'll let the next person. But you guys on YouTube are saying we had some people get some members. I don't see. I know we had that one member join. I don't know where the other member is. But yeah, shout out to all the moderators in the YouTube and all the new members. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's let the next person, Austin Wilson, here. Hey, Austin.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. Thanks for making it
Doing
up.
good.
What's your question?
Yeah, first off, I just want to say I love what you're doing, but my main question, I guess, is, and you kind of just answered it talking with the other guy, but is plastic to diesel like gonna be a fuel solution or more of a waste management solution that just happens to produce fuel?
So my goal of this is definitely more of a waste management solution that happens to make fuel, especially
Okay.
because when it comes down to the regulatory side of things, even if my fuel was like the best, it's still tough in every use case to sell your own fuel, right? So I kind of like an example I like to give
Yeah.
is let's say these machines are deployed at landfills, right? Okay, if
Yeah.
it's deployed at a landfill, um, what we're able to do with that is now the landfill can reduce their plastic volume, which saves them
Mm.
money,
And
valuable
produce
space being
fuel.
taken up by plastic. But now you're also getting rid of that volume, and now you're also making fuel that they can use in like their machines that they used to operate at the landfill
Yes,
anyways.
in-house and things like that. Yes, yes, yes.
Exactly. Because from my perspective, that's a lot easier loophole to get around the fuel thing than
Yeah.
asking
And
them,
then you
give me
gotta
your
fight all
plastic
these
and I
big
sell you the
million, well,
fuel. Because then
trillion
I got to
dollar
go through all the
companies.
regulations and stuff, right? Versus them just using the fuel.
Yes. Smart man, brother. That's why you're the one.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And thank you. Great
All right.
question there.
Yes, sir. God bless you.
Yep. All right. Base to watch. You said, can you use any solar panel to power everything, or does it need to be a certain size and type? Jazza Base, that's a great question on the YouTube. For a while, I wish that you could just use any solar panel, and you can, but the issue is you gotta have if you mix and match solar panels, like let's say I have a really big one and I put it next to a small one, the power is gonna get limited to whatever the smallest panel is. It's kind of like pipes and plumbing. You can have as big of a pipe you want, but it's only going to allow as much flow as the smallest pipe in the system. And so, when I'm building like the what you guys see on the screen there on the YouTube live stream, the Mark V with the trailer, all of those solar panels are going to have to be the exact same size. Um, if you had a huge array, like my array of solar panels I have out in Alabama, I have entire rows of smaller ones and entire rows of bigger ones. But you can't just mix match them like that. Hey, how you doing?
Good, good. Sorry it took a second to accept that there. My phone's broken, so it wouldn't. It's at the top of the screen. It was all messed up.
Oh, no worries.
Anyways, I have like four little quick things here. I mean, one's just, I respect you, and I appreciate what you're doing. You kind of answered the second one. I was going to ask about the recycling, if you're going more recycling way, and how with all of the methods around like solar and stuff like that, like you have an extra little bit on there that's benefiting because we have so much plastic everywhere too. So that's just like, I think you're up one on like wind and solar and stuff too because of that. um I was curious about what you think about the ether, like Tesla type thing, like electric dielectric, stuff like that.
Can you emphasize more what you mean by that? By the Tesla
Well,
electric and that?
like there's free energy allegedly, like in the ether. It was like most scientists accepted that back in the day, right? And so we have negative and positive ions that are going up and down. So if you can have basically like simply like, I don't know, copper rod in the ground that helps your plants grow better is basically a simple form of it. It's basically just a long pole that takes the shaking of the earth and then the energy up in the air and kind of um, connects the two. Do you think that there's ways that we can harvest that better and have like maybe one question I also had is if you think we already were able to do that and the old buildings did that too? Because I saw you were with, sorry, I'll just do this last preface. This is kind of involved in it. I saw you with that guy out in Costa Rica there who moved from the States. I can't remember his name right now.
Joe
And
Fells.
he's got a whole bunch. Say it again.
His name is Joe Fells.
Yeah, great guy. I like his content. And I was just wondering if like he would probably think along. He'd probably believe in the ether, I would think, and stuff like that. And I was just wondering what you were thinking along those lines and stuff. So my question kind of was already answered, but I did want to bring that up still.
Yeah, I do believe in the ether, and it was just like any other type of science up to a certain year. I forgot what year it was, but it was just renowned as one of the elements. Just like how we have what earth, wind, fire, air. Ether was just one of the elements, and I do believe my perspective on the ether element is I really believe that the ether is deeply entwined with quantum science, and it's really just a matter of definitions. I think that like that's pretty much what quantum science is studying, just with a different name. While they called it ether back then, now they're just calling it the quantum. And there's so much to
I
it
get that.
because you're starting to get into the realm of things where it's like it could be some things you can easily get into pseudoscience with it, right? And more theoretical science versus reality science. But that's why I like to when I look into any of these things, I like to look at things that have already been done versus not as much of what people are saying nowadays. Because I feel like a lot of stuff nowadays is easily could be just pseudoscience and things without proof.
Totally.
But there are a lot of principles that like Nikola Tesla was studying based on these things that we see constantly being figured out and proven, especially with things like Earth's magnetic field and such. So yeah, I'm definitely a proponent of that stuff for sure, and just trying to learn the reality behind it for sure. We got somebody else.
Sorry, last thing, would you try something like that after you got all like Mark V and well probably further along the line down? Like are you interested in stuff like that just for experiment's sake, or are you just more, I don't know, interested in gasoline energy, I guess?
Well, I'm not even interested in gasoline energy. I'm interested in getting rid of waste because my perspective is you can have all the energy you want in the world, but if we still have waste, we're still gonna end up like Wall-E, right? And waste is to me is kind of stupid because if you look in nature, everything is reused. So that's my perspective. I'm like we can get as far advanced as we want with AI or quantum or ether, but if we're still making waste, I think that that's still a barbaric mindset. In fact, it's probably even worse than barbaric because in the very base roots of nature, everything is reused and energy is not wasted. And waste is just a part of the cycle and system to, reincorporate into the system. So that's my perspective of plastic.
Yeah, if
But,
we don't get rid of it,
you.
it'll just poison the people now rather than get rid of it and then not poison
Hey.
people, right? All right. You have a good one, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate
and
your
you
time.
as well. He said, Jab, your friend with the old school house in car deals and that. What are you talking about, Rhyme Time? I'm not familiar with who you're talking about. You said they won't let us use anything they can't make $1 off because it undermines their business. At some point, I do wonder if it's even as deep as money alone or if it goes beyond money, right? If it just goes beyond straight up like, because for example, I mean like that. So we have the plastic problem that's this bad, and obviously it's cheaper to just make new products and just let it go into the ocean or just let the plastic go to waste and to actually implement something proper. But then at the same time, I do wonder because I'm like, well, when you think about it, there's so many other things being done with the money that could go towards, like there's so many nonprofits and things for other things that could go towards plastic and actual solutions. And a lot of the actual solutions that are funded are not doing anything. They're not proper solutions. So I almost wonder if it's on purpose in some ways. You said HDPE and LDPE have very similar. So this is a Discord chat. Some people are. HDPE and LDPE are near identical because HDPE is high density polyethylene and LDPE is low density polyethylene. But both of them are polyethylene just at different densities, right? So it's pretty much the same thing. It's like cardboard. It's like thick cardboard versus thin cardboard. It's all cardboard. It's just one is thicker than the other. All right, DNA Skate, you're up on the Discord.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I can actually barely hear you, but I'll put my phone up to my ear. Hey, so yeah, man, as everybody else says, what you're doing is obviously a really great thing. Like a year ago, I went through my own thing with plastics and, I actually let it completely reshift my life. as far as getting rid of our plastic waste. It reshaped my health actually because of trying to eliminate plastics from my daily purchasing. It actually reshaped the way I eat, the way I interact with certain sports, the way I conduct kind of my life. And since then, I've actually for a year now I've been kind of collecting everything that we go through for plastics, for glass, and I'd like to over this course of this year, I've it's a pretty sweet collection. We use a lot of it for arts and crafts and stuff like that, but I also like to get rid of some of it. And I know that you were having shipments coming in for people wanting to send plastics, and you can use it for your fuel. So my big question is for now and maybe on your new developing Mark V, are you gonna have anywhere for like your regular person to see something posted where they can identify like what plastics to send to you, what plastics to kind of keep out from sending to you, which ones that you can reuse, which ones you're unable to reuse, something of that sort to make it so that the public can be like kind of more involved with this with sending you stuff?
Yeah, that's a great point. So as it stands, you can send me your plastic. You can find all the information on naturejab.info. I do need to set up a little section on my website about it. So thank you for mentioning that to me. And with the Mark V machine, it's gonna be mobile, and I'm gonna be going around different cities with it. Like, where are you based, for example?
I'm in Seattle, Washington. Unfortunately, when you came to Seattle, I was out of town for a family
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so what
yeah.
I'm gonna do is like when I am doing shows traveling with Mark V, one of the great things will be that people can bring me their plastic at the show, and then we're gonna put it in the machine there and make fuel
That
with
was
it right
sweet.
then and there. So it'll be really cool and educational piece too. But yeah, right now as it stands, I'll type it in the Discord chat. But if you go to naturejab.info, you can find the actual information as to where you can send your plastic. At this moment, you can send me all types of plastic. The only one I stay away from is PVC, but most plastic is not PVC anyway.
Right.
But yeah, I need to put a little section on my website for that. So thank you for reminding me. But
Yeah,
I appreciate
like
that.
a big thing for people to see, definitely. And I work for this company called Beyond Plastics, and so the main part of there is trying to cut back on usages. But what I'm trying to emphasize for them is less about the usages and more on focusing on solutions for moving forward with plastics that are out there. So at one point, I'd like to maybe even connect maybe the two of you guys at some level, or be able to spread more information about kind of what you're doing with different companies that we're working with. And I'm just trying to wonder if there's a way that people could do that, or if I could do that.
Yeah, you'll have to send me an email, which you can find the contact information for that at naturejab.com. So yeah, man. Thank you so much, Derek, and I'll
Yeah.
work on getting that section set up on the website. Appreciate you. We'll let Zishan. Now, look. Here's the funny thing, right? All right, Zish, what's up?
Hey, good to connect. Yeah, well, just listening to you guys, 'cause I came in and there was the bass guy was speaking, like about ether. This isn't the question I've got, but the person that you know already, if that was even something to go into, would be Parker, who you were with the other week. Parker, he's like the ether wizard, isn't he? So, but what's good about him is he was friends with Paul, well, the late Paul Babcock, that was doing stuff with ether. No, not ether. A plant fuel. What is it? Ethanol. So he was teaching people over in Washington how to make fuel themselves. So they weren't reliant upon all the companies and everything. But my question to you is, because I always kind of take the mickey out of recycled plastic. That you like, because I've seen the trend, going into the green, and then you see people wearing like polyester, and they go, it's recycled polyester. Because I remember years and years ago, because obviously all the plastics going into the oceans and everything, I supported this one company called Komodo, and they were making a recycled fleece from polyester, and it was like for freeing Tibet, so I supported that. Have you? I don't know how this goes because plastic's plastic. What about clothing? could you recycle like polyester clothing? And then, so what I'm thinking here is today, like all the scrap metal merchants and the recycling, I don't know what it's like over in America, but it's all been taken over by the councils that just seem to be making money for themselves. And then here in Britain, it's ridiculous. We'll send all the plastic over to China. So you could create, I don't know how it works there, but you could create like a bank where people bring their plastic. Years and years ago, if you drank drinks, we'd have drinks in glass bottles, and then you'd buy the soda or whatever, and then when you returned the glass bottles, they'd give you like 10p to help you towards the next purchase of your bottles. I don't know how it works with you. Have you got like a bank of, and could you use clothing, like recycled
Yes,
polyester clothing? Because
clothing could work, and a lot of clothing nowadays is actually a large percentage of plastic or nylon, which are petroleum products. So they'll go in the machine and make fuel just fine. Being polyester, nylon. There's some other materials now out of clothing, especially with Shein and a lot of Temu stuff. I mean, the clothing is essentially a water bottle at this point nowadays, and it's they used to push that as a thing of like a good thing for everything, but it actually turned out to be a lot worse, because when you put this clothing made of plastic in your washing machine, it actually breaks off a ton of microplastics into the water.
Yeah, they'll go. Yeah, I have to be careful now. If I go and want to buy like a woolen jumper or something, you see how they've slowly gone away from 100% wool, and they'll be putting in little bits of, oh, it's recycled polyester. One final question. I don't really know if it was a question. What about like hemp? Is there where the plastics in the green world? People are aware of the plastic, aren't they? How it's messes up your hormones, this and that and the other. Is there? So your whole focus is because I'm new here, your focus is to take all the plastic that's out there, take the waste and convert it into fuel for your car, correct?
No, the goal is to get rid of the plastic. The fuel is a byproduct.
Okay, so the vision is to clean up the environment by making fuel that is efficient for the engine.
Yeah, like making the fuel is a good thing, but the main idea is being able to have a machine or technology that can actually truly get rid of this plastic without making any microplastics. And then it's
one final thing then. A human being for you to connect with, an elder, would be Paul Stamets, because what he was doing, he was using mushroom fungus to clean up oil and all that kind of stuff, which I think is kind of, isn't it a form of plastic anyway? All of it comes from nature somewhere, doesn't it? But it's very dominant now and disruptive, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that information and for bringing up the conversation of the clothing, because I think that stuff is a huge thing, especially nowadays, because they really tried to push it as some type of green solution.
Yeah, let me just say,
hey, we do need to get on. We do need to get on to the next person, but thank you very much.
Nice to hear from you.
We need to move on.
Disappeared,
I appreciate
okay,
you.
peace. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye for now. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I saw a question somebody asked in the YouTube. Jazza Bass asked, why don't I take PVC? And I don't take PVC simply for the reason of so PVC is polyvinyl chlorine or chloride, and that's because it has chlorine in there. PVC, chlorine. The C is chlorine. And so if I were to put PVC into my machine, that chlorine has to go somewhere. It's a halogenated compound. So that means that when the plastic breaks down into fuel, it's chemically broken down, but that chlorine will still persist. And with that being said, the chlorine products will end up in like the fuels. And it's not necessarily as bad of a problem as it may seem. There's a lot of solutions you can do to chlorine, kind of like what I was saying to SQ with the benzene. You can actually deal with chlorine through, once again, calcium oxide garden lime. It will react with it and form calcium chlorate. But the thing is, that would take testing to guarantee. Because here's the thing about chlorine, right? Just like how it's going to persist through the pyrolysis process, it's also going to persist through the combustion process, right? So if I make this fuel like plastiline, and plastiline, let's say plastiline burns clean as all can be, the cleanest burning fuel ever, but it has some chlorine in there. Well, that chlorine is still going to come out the exhaust no matter how clean the plastiline burns, and that will make the exhaust still harmful to people and the environment no matter how clean the actual fuel itself burns. Because it doesn't really break down like that. And if it does, it breaks down into just other hazardous compounds. Unlike, even like benzene, for example, if benzene burns properly, it's just going to be CO2 and water vapor. Chlorine is not the same way. Now, once again, I was saying there was a lot of different methods you can use to solve that problem. And the only reason why I have not got to the point where I implement PVC is because I would want to be 100% sure that the methods I'm utilizing work consistently. And so I would need to basically do exactly what I have, put a machine on a trailer, literally drive the reactor to a lab and just do like a month trial of PVC, make sure that it's, the fuel products are clean time and time again, and what type of things or maintenance needs to be done to keep up that standard. Because I think that's my perspective. Some people, if you're to use the actual liquid as a fuel, it's one thing. But once again, you could use the oil that comes out the machine for a lot of different uses. You could use it to make other plastic, blah, blah, blah. Pasoko Solid on YouTube said, Bonjour, Nature Jack. Felicitaciones por ton travail. Is that French? Look, some of the words felicitaciones is like felicidades in Spanish, so I recognize that a little bit. But yeah, I actually do want to learn French after I master Spanish. You said the chlorine gas will harm your respiratory system. Yeah, and it's not good. Now, I don't think it's going to harm the reactor that much. Some people say it would. You said you can make hydrochloric acid. Yes, so that's one of the things. You could also you could make some useful products out of the chlorine, like hydrochloric acid as well. All right, money making. I'm gonna let you up. Money making. Hey, you guys, you know what's funny, right? If you guys remember on YouTube, last time I went live, there was this guy in here that was just so like wanting to debate and just angry. I told him, hey, we're gonna have a debate Wednesday. You can join on Discord. Hey, when you actually have it open, most of the time these people are completely silent. Right? Like the super angry people, right? Because everybody here has just been, hey, chill, respectful. But these people that are so loud over the in the chat, they don't come up when when we have a proper time for them. What's up, money making?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming up.
I appreciate it. You're welcome. All right, my question is, will you build a gas station, or I heard you talking about the mobile thing, or like, will you ever build like a gas station, like, pull up where people pull up?
So I am not as interested in building a gas station because it's really, really tough from the regulatory perspective, because I'm making a fuel that's not been seen before, and it'd have to go through so many years of testing. Like in the US, it probably will be close to 10 years of different tests and paperwork approvals, and that's based on like who the president is. And so to me, I feel like if I were to go like get so focused on that route, it would take away the whole point of this project, which is to really get rid of the plastic. So my perspective is more of, I would, instead of trying to make a gas station, I want to get to the point where I could just have these trailers and stuff everywhere, or have these machines on boats everywhere, because then we're actually getting rid of the plastic, and I can always circle back around to the the fuel or gas station side of things at any point. But that can't be the main goal, otherwise it's gonna end up taking all the resources just to get to that point.
So you just want to change it and store it?
Well, no,
Like,
it can be used as fuel in other ways. So here's the thing.
Yeah, that was my second question, actually, like low lawnmowers or go-karts.
So for example, like farmers can, they can get away with using fuel that's not as regulated. Planes are the same way, a lot of aviation stuff. So there's a lot of loopholes legally where you can use fuel that doesn't have to go through all the paperwork and stuff, even if it is clean or good fuel. And I think lawn care is a form too, in a way. Like I said, there's a lot to look up in that. But the main thing is, I feel like that's just gonna kind of come together on its own, right?
Yeah, I get what you're
Over
saying.
time, it's gonna just make sense on how we're gonna do that. But I think the most important goal is just trying to get these machines everywhere possible and let whoever has the machine figure out what they want to do with the fuel instead of me trying to sell the fuel to them.
Okay, so your goal is to sell the machine. That's smart. I get it.
Yeah,
Well, I appreciate you, bro. You goated. You $1 billion
appreciate you, man.
man. I can't wait to see you make it to the top, man. Keep doing your thing.
Hey, man, appreciate you. Take care.
You too.
Yeah, red diesel for farming the off-road diesel. Yeah, there's a lot of loopholes with that. Military, they're not regulated. So give the machines to the military, they use the fuel all they want, right? But if I can get the machine to you, that's the most important and most valuable piece. Because no matter what you're doing with the fuel, if you're using this machine, you're getting rid of plastic permanently. And another thing too, let's be real, guys. Let's be real. Because people oftentimes talk about gas station this, gas station that, but let's be real, guys. Gas stations operate at a humongous scale. We're talking the biggest companies in the world are gas companies. So at that, the price you're getting at the pump, I know that they price gouge and stuff, but that price is at this absolutely humongous scale. I'm operating at this tiny scale. So unless I was at like a pretty big scale, there's no way my price could be competitive to them. There's a certain time when you get something so big, you're able to make things cheaper, because you just have it so big and it's such large volume, right? But there's no way a little machine I have could be at that level. Well, I'm not gonna say it never could, but hey, I'll tell you this: if it could beat the prices, I wouldn't be alive, right? Hey, I'll see you, Squid Zinc on the YouTube. Thank you for stopping by. You said, have you ever talked to Hazel Kim? They were doing plastic pyrolysis. Yeah, Steven Duller. I check on him every now and then. He actually was one of the guys who inspired me to get into this stuff. I saw his videos on YouTube when I was literally when I was in school still. He was the guy who really made me think like, hey, I'm a welder. Let me just build this, because I saw him just build it. Like he was in college when he built his, but he wasn't even going to school for pyrolysis, I don't think, right? Or for chemical engineering like that. So he kind of inspired me. But yeah, I've heard of him, and he kind of just disappeared from YouTube, and that's what I saw happen a ton. Like that's kind of what made me be like, no matter what happens, I'm gonna always stay at this, because so many people I saw that started going down the route of kind of like as an individual building plastic into fuel machines, they just stopped, they just disappeared or just gave up on the project. And to me, I'm like, well, my perspective going into this is that it's a little bit more than a project, because of given the dire state of where things are at, given microplastics and plastics in general everywhere. So it's a little bit more than a project. It's a mission. So I really can't give up on the mission. I will let AJ up on in the Discord. All right, AJ.
Hey, how you doing, Julian?
Hey, I'm all right. 1 second. Let me see. Is he quiet for you guys, or is it just me?
It's probably my. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. I guess I'll turn you up here. All right. We're good.
Yeah, well, good evening to you. Yeah, but I'm definitely your project's been inspiring me, and I'm piloting a youth recycling education program, and I know you were speaking a few months back about releasing like a research journal or a book, and it'll be something that's valuable and to supercharge the program that I'm starting, just to teach the youth about safety protocols that you have while building. Maybe even they could maybe start building the Mark One to learn about engineering and safety, and also collecting these plastics in the neighborhood. Because like myself, I've collected plastic over the past year, and my backyard is like full, and it just showed me like how much plastic I'm consuming through shopping and things. So I'm just really waiting on your book. I know you said you was going to release, and I know that's going to be a banger when you release it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's something that I actually am definitely working on even more with Mark V. So here's how I'm setting it up. As I'm building Mark V, I'm gonna really be. This is gonna be my best machine yet, and I'm gonna really end up making a lot of the steps or the different parts of the machine very specific. And so I actually am planning on making conjunctively the blueprints for it at the same time. And then so around the summer of this year, I want to put out my book, and it's going to have the blueprints in it, and it's going to be completely open source. And that way, anybody that wants to build these machines, the machines I've built they can follow those instructions, and then you can also literally watch side by side as I'm putting it together online, and so you can kind of see exactly how it's put together.
Okay, yeah, that's great because it's just like it'll definitely add to your mission if every community can have one, or if it's engineers in the community that can assist the community in getting one of these built. With your open source materials, like that's how we gonna solve it. That's one of the ways we're gonna crack down on all of the plastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, the open source approach has always been what I wanted to do, no matter what, because I think that that's the best way to get this. We need this everywhere in the world, and I don't think that gatekeeping it is the way. Hey, but thank you so much for your question, AJ. We'll get on to the next people here. We got quite a few hands risen here. Thank you so much, and keeps tuned for that book. And hey, I appreciate the work you do with the recycling thing for sure, and keep that up, man.
Yep, I will. Like you, a motivation. If youth don't know about you, some of them already know about you. So the ones that don't, I always share them with you.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Okay. Hey, K-Cell is on it in the YouTube chat. He said, shout out to everybody who smashed that like button and tuning in. Yeah, hey, thank you, K-Cell. Appreciate you, man. All right, let's let up Simply Dop 3 next. You said you're definitely going to build one? Yeah, because it's just been up to this entire... What the heck? This guy's picture changed. What's up, Simply Dop 3?
Yo, what's up, Julian? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. You must have nitro or something, because your picture's like moving and stuff. I never seen that before.
Yeah, I don't know. My Discord's messing up. Dude, I just want to say I appreciate the invention you're doing and like, your mission and your goal, bro. I see your videos and dude, it inspires me to do like something, like like uh just change the world because dude, I went to Guatemala recently. And I don't know, I think you said somewhere in your live stream that you want to go there or you plan visiting there or something.
Yeah, I've been teaching myself Spanish because I want to really bring these machines everywhere that needs it, and a lot of countries that need it are Latin American countries.
Yeah, man. That's really a big problem over there. There's like so much plastic and I see people like burning it just like lighting it up right there in the open and it's releasing like bad it's like it's polluting the air, it's bad to breathe in and stuff. And used to see like children near it and stuff and it hurts me, because I'm just like I know there's a way to change it. As a kid, I seen it too and I was like I know there's a way to change it, but I don't know how. And that's my thing is like I love learning new things and I seen where you talked about how it's just like you learned it, you did your own research, like it was free, like it's been around for so long, so like, it's nothing new, but there's just more to it and stuff. And so like, it's just amazing.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Kaya asked if I ship my deodorant to the Caribbean. Yes, I do. Kai Run King. And where are you from, man?
I'm from the US. I'm from North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but my family's from Guatemala, so I went there recently to go see family.
Oh man, yeah. I'm sure it's sad to see because even when I was in Costa Rica not too long ago, when I saw plastic, but I've seen the pictures from Guatemala and it's horrible over there for real.
Yeah,
and a
the
lot of
country is so beautiful. Like,
yeah.
there's so much history. The Mayan temples and stuff is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful over there. So if all that plastic was just, cleaned up, it would just look, everywhere it would look beautiful. It would do so much benefit. It
And,
does
and you
so
know
much
what?
benefit.
You know what's the saddest part is you're thinking about it even from the perspective of just how it looks, but the truth is that plastic is doing a lot for the health of everything. When
It
you have
is.
that just plastic everywhere, you just imagine how many microplastics are in the air, in the food, in the water. Every animal, every human over there, you're getting a way higher concentration of microplastics than you are in a place that isn't that polluted. And who knows what that's doing long term. Hey, I do gotta move on to some other people, man. But
Yes,
thank you so
sir.
much, man. Que te vaya bien.
Yeah, igualmente.
Yeah. All right. Walden. We'll let Walden up. Yes, I do. We ship international. And I'm actually just getting Jabberama onto Amazon pretty soon here as well.
Yo.
Yo, what's up? You're pretty quiet. If you could.
Oh, sorry. I can turn my mic up. There we go. Does that help? Oh.
Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm really not here to like debate with you. I actually wanted to propose something to you.
Okay.
My name's Miles. I live in Ohio, and currently I've been spending the better part of a year working on building out this Honda Element into like a mobile tiny home, kind of like what you're doing with the Mark V. And it should be up and running by like May, but that's kind of beside the point. Basically, I'm kind of a film major, and I stumbled upon you about maybe I want to say like 6-7 months ago, and I don't know. I saw what you were doing, and I kind of saw the potential of what you were doing, and since I do film and I've been wanting to make a documentary for a while, I actually wanted to propose if I could come see the Mark V and shoot you a documentary over the course of like a few days or a week or even longer, if that's fine with you. Um, basically,
So
the
as it
goal would be
stands,
sorry.
the Mark V project and construction does already have a documentary crew. Uh, Shout out to
Ooh,
TZ for the
okay.
people as it stands now. Now, however, if you do want to uh, see Mark V and potentially ever help out or get on, hands on deck with it, or just these type of things, that actually is open. So you can go to naturejab.com/Mark V, and there's this form you can fill out.
Okay.
And then from that form, you can basically put down where you are, how you want to contribute or help out to the project. And like every Sunday, what I've been doing is I've been having gatherings of people and we're just getting out there and doing work towards it. So but yeah, man, check that out. Once again, it's naturejab.com/Mark V. As a matter of fact, I'll type it in the chat, and you can fill out that form. You see it; it'll just say, if you can help or contribute to Mark V, fill out this form. It's like the Mark V assistance form. But yeah, man.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Thank you so
For
much.
sure. Yeah. Hey, who in here has like a critical question? It doesn't necessarily have to be a debate, but more of like a, because of course I appreciate all the questions. And how I really want to have it set up is to where Mondays we do live stream around the same time, 7 p.m., which is a more Q&A live stream, and then Wednesdays we do like a much more critical type of Q&A or critical potentially debate if people are up for it. Look, we have somebody in the live stream. Hey, K-Cell, you don't have to delete those type of messages because Ron Labe is a perfect person to get up here for the Q&A on YouTube. Look, that was literally what I was talking about. So Ron Labe on YouTube, Ron Labe 5487 said, "Will you ever stop?" Hold on, I can't. This thing in the screen. He said, "Will you ever stop lying about inventing this technology? or will you just continue to make fraudulent claims forever? Ron Lab 5487. What we have going on right now is you can click the link that's on the top of the live stream chat, and then you can join the Discord, and then you can literally come into here right now, and I'll let you up, and then you can we can basically have a little debate about whatever your concerns are, like what you were typing in the chat. Now, with that being said, I'll let Savage up next. Yeah, okay, so no, it's no worries at all. That's exactly the type of people that we want to debate. Because what I'm trying to do is really demystify things for people that may have concerns.
Hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Julian. First off, long time, first time. Just wanted to say that. Big fan of your work, and I think regardless of what happens, I think people should be really looking at you as a model here for somebody who is inspiring so many people to be interested in getting out there, becoming self-made, learning incredibly important critical skills, and learning all about science and technology. And as an instructional designer who works at a university, your kind of model is what I'd like to try and emulate when designing college courses. So I want to thank you very much for that starting off.
Hey, you're so welcome, man, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Second of all, and you may or may not have seen me yelling about this in the in the general chat, but I have to put this in front of you because it is so mission critical for your ability to raise money, and that is graphene. Graphene. I cannot stress that enough. Graphene. With all of the carbon that you are generating, any kind of carbon source, whether it's a wood pile that you burned, in a fire, whether it's stuff you're scraping off from your machine, it can all be turned into graphene very easily, very quickly with the equipment that you already have on hand. If you have a welder and you have 2 carbon rods and you have a clay flower pot, all you have to do is put whatever carbon source into that pot, put those 2 carbon rods in, spaced apart, into that slurry, just with this dry carbon, and spin that pot around and turn up the amps and the volts, and you will generate flash graphene. Look up flash graphene on YouTube. They talk all about how to do it. Per kilo, it is going between $20,000 to $60,000. 1 kilo of carbon will result in nearly 1 kilo of graphene. This stuff is it's the hottest, it's the most valuable chemical, most valuable material on the frickin' planet right now because of all of the technological, the electronics, the batteries, the everything, the concrete that it can be used to make better. People were going crazy about carbon fiber. This is 10 times more valuable than carbon fiber ever will be. This is the stuff, and you can use it with the refuse that your machine is generating after making your fuels. So
Okay.
I.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that information here. I wouldn't say I'm a graphene expert, but I am familiar because I've seen quite a few videos of people like making it online and stuff, like the method you're talking about. And I have read some research papers on it as well, on trying to like making flash graphene and all. So I'll look into it a little bit more. Of course, the one thing about it is, of course, it does have a very high energy. It's very energy hungry, right? So that's one thing. And of course, this machine already does have solar panels, already does have a lot of battery storage, could be turned into capacitors to make graphene. So I'll definitely explore it because you're very right when it comes to the carbon product of the machine. The final byproduct definitely is a great feedstock, or anything carbon based could be used to make graphene for that matter. But the carbon is probably great because it's so dense of carbon.
And it's so close. The closer you are to carbon, the better the result you're going to. And it all takes is your welder. That's it.
Right. Yeah. So I'll definitely look into that. I haven't seen the techniques that use the welder, So I'll look into that. And so thank you
I got
so
it
much,
posted
man.
in the general chat. Just look in the
Okay.
general chat. Click on the YouTube video. It's stupid simple.
All right, man. I'll check that out. Thank you so much, Savage.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Oh, there we go. You said. You said, what specifically have you invented that hasn't already been researched? Ron Labe, once again, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can copy paste this. Oh yeah, Ron Labe, you see that link that I just put in the chat there? So you can click that link, get into the server, and then join what we have going on here, because this is the whole point of what we have today, for you to get up in here. And then we can basically just go back and forth about any questions, concerns you have about the process. Now I will say, I will answer your question here. I will answer these questions you asked here just because I already kind of talked about them at this point. But from this point forward, Ron Labe, if you have any other questions that you want to say, you need to join the Discord, and you can come in here. So you said, will you ever stop lying about inventing this technology, or will you just continue to make fraudulent claims forever? First of all, to answer that, I've never said I invented this technology. There's not a single video or comment section or thread where you will ever see where I said I invented pyrolysis. I've said so many times that I did not invent pyrolysis, and that I'm an innovator of pyrolysis. Now, I did say that I invented a solar continuous microwave pyrolysis reactor. But that's completely different than saying I invented the entire process of pyrolysis. I've never made that claim. A lot of people have kind of put that into my mouth. Pause. All Diddy. But no, I've never said I've invented pyrolysis. It's been around since, literally the Earth. That's how Earth makes crude oil to begin with, pyrolysis. But to answer that question. The other thing you said, what specifically have you invented that hasn't already been researched by oil and gas companies? And Moses Slate Teeth 2388 answered you. Shout out to you, Moses Slate Teeth. The specific combination of a microwave, continuous pyrolysis, and solar continuous pyrolysis reactor, up to the point in which I made it, has not been seen. It's that simple. I mean, you can look it up yourself. Look up those specific keywords: continuous solar microwave pyrolysis reactor, and then just look up if you can go online and find something with all those specific things that truly is that, not something that just has it as the title, but you can actually look into it and see the machine and see the solar panels. That's it. You said I was trying to find the link, but I see you have heard one guy posted open blueprints for like 50 machines. I have not heard about the guy who has posted blueprints for 50 machines. I think I have actually. I forgot his name. Somebody said they were trying to debate in the Discord chat. He said, I wanted to master debate to see how well this product is compared to recycling plastic. I don't know if he's joking because of how he said that. I'm trying. Do you actually want to debate the boy McFly, or is this some type of joke? Because you said master debate, and I don't know. I don't know what he's actually trying to say. Okay. You do want to debate, okay? Because I don't know. It's like, all right. Let me see if I can let you up then. Wait, what? No, he's saying no. I don't know. Yeah, Ron, join the Discord and I'll let you up. I'm okay. I've somehow become more confused. All right. All right. What's up?
Yo, man, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, so my question, as I understand it, you're basically saying that you're like a waste management company, and the way you're dealing with waste is through recycling plastics and making it into fuel. Like my question would be like, what? I'm not sure how to, I guess like say it, but if you were to compare your way of recycling and trying to help the world with other people who are trying to recycle plastic, like when you compare the results that you have with other people, how are you up to par or above the par from the rest?
Like when it comes to other companies that do pyrolysis or traditional recycling of plastic.
It could be traditional recycling plastic, or it can be like people recycling plastics to use it as a 3D, to use it as fuel, I guess you can say, for a 3D printer and make stuff out of it. Like, how do you compare yourself towards those people?
Okay, so that's a good point there. So here's the thing, right? When you have traditional recycling of plastic, like let's say we're talking about a 3D printer, right? Like you take your 3D printer waste to go make another thing out of it. Here's the issue. There's two big issues with that. For one, the first issue is you can only do that so many times. Every time you do it, that plastic becomes weaker and weaker. And so eventually, at some point, those scraps are going to just be waste, right? Because there's nothing else that can be done with them. But also, you're limited in the type of plastic you can do because like 3D printer is a lot of ABS, I believe, but you can't put in like polyethyl terephthalate water bottle PET plastic in 3D printers, for example, right? You can only use thermoset plastics. And then another huge issue is contamination. You can't use 3D printer plastic waste that is potentially dirty with oil or paints or other things that could mess up the injector nozzle, that could mess up the entire process, right? So you're limited in those ways in what the true waste is. You really can't utilize true waste. You have to kind of utilize almost like scraps in a way, because let's say if I'm getting plastic from a trash bin that's mixed with food and water and other types of plastic and oil, you're never going to be able to use that in a 3D printer. And a lot of those same problems plague the current actual mainstream plastic recycling industry, where that's why if I were to give you a recycling bin and you put 100 water bottles in there, only one is going to get recycled statistically, because less than 1% of plastics get recycled nowadays, because it's so much of a pain to deal with actual waste, post-consumer waste that has all these variables like dirt on it, oil, food, different plastics mixed together. As a matter of fact, a water bottle alone is 3 different types of plastic usually. You have the actual body of it, the PET, polyethyl terephthalate, the clear plastic, the cap is polypropylene, and the wrap around it could be polyethylene. Sometimes it's polyethyl terephthalate as well, but how are you going to sustainably at a humongous scale shred all those down and then separate the different types of plastics that can't work into plastics that can work in like a 3D printer, or if you're making another water bottle, and then have to clean them too? Right? So the reason why microwave pyrolysis, what I do, the reason why it stands above a lot of these other methods and actually works, is because when I put plastic into my machine, it is truly every type of plastic mixed together, dirty, with no sorting beforehand, and it's just going right into the machine, and the machine is processing all of the plastic equally and unanimously, and not only is it converting it into a product that's no longer plastic, but that product is also completely contained and enclosed within this process. So kind of going back to what we were saying before, if I'm turning one plastic water bottle into another plastic water bottle, that process actually contaminates a lot of water with microplastics. My machine completely chemically destroys the plastic, and when that fuel is made, there's not a trace of microplastics in that fuel because it's a permanent chemical change taking place.
Okay, and so you purify it all, like even if it does come with gunk and everything.
Yeah, because the machine is operating on the principle of thermal cracking on a chemical level. And so when it comes down to thermal cracking, plastic is one of the hardest things to thermally crack. And so things like food or oil are all below plastic on the level of hydrocarbons. And so if the machine can break down plastic, it can very easily break down food or oil residue on the plastic, because of how we're processing the materials into the machine. We're not trying to make this purified piece of plastic on the back end. We're just trying to destroy everything that goes into the machine. So it's kind of like the idea of almost a fire in a way. And the machine is not a fire and it's not catching the plastic on fire, but it's similar to a fire in a way where a fire will consume clean things just as much as a fire will consume dirty things because the fire is destroying it on a chemical level. And that's how pyrolysis works as well. Pyrolysis is essentially a fire without a fire. You're heating something up without oxygen, so you're not allowing it to catch on fire and create smoke, but you're completely breaking it apart, breaking down the chains that make it held together on a chemical level. And so it's able to, destroy all plastic without even needing sorting and mixing, if the plastic is mixed or dirty. So that's the biggest advantage, I would say.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you had a purifier sorted out, like your plastic and everything.
Yeah, and I will be completely honest and transparent in the fact of if you do separate out the plastic and you do sort it, you will get better and more consistent results. And that's just the truth. I mean, there's no way you can have random waste going in the machine and get consistent results out because waste is always different. The good thing about the machine is that regardless of what the results are, like of the fuel coming out, you're still able to destroy the plastic and make fuel no matter what the composition or contamination level is. And to me, that's why I always say the goal of the machine is just to get rid of the fuel or get rid of the plastic rather. So like when I put these machines on boats or when I put them on trailers and I want to go over to like a school to get rid of their trash, I can get rid of all their trash and all their waste and then deal with that fuel later, whether that involves it needs to be cleaned up more because maybe this particular waste from this school was dirtier than another waste or whatever. That's something that can be dealt with on the back end, but we got rid of that trash, which is the most important thing.
Okay, one last question. Does your machine have like any byproduct like CO2s and stuff like that?
So the great thing about the machine, like I said, it's a completely enclosed process. So the machine has no emissions. The machine operates under vacuum, and so with it being under vacuum, there can't be emissions. That's not how a vacuum works. And the only byproducts of the plastic breaking down, vapors, are actual natural gas vapors that are compressed into tanks. So while the machine is operating, there literally is there's no smell, there's no smoke, there's no vapors coming off the machine. It's a completely enclosed process.
Okay, and what are those gases that are released? Do you know?
So there are no gases released from the machine itself. What there is, one of the byproducts of the machine, so I turn plastic into crude oil, but I also turn plastic into a natural gas alternative. That natural gas alternative is plumbed into tanks and compressed and stored, right? Now that natural gas, I can then use that to fuel my refiner to heat it up. And so if that's what you're referring to, that's what that is. That's not natural gas, a byproduct made of the machine that is stored and compressed. So it's not an emission because it's not just being emitted from the machine.
Okay, can you use that gas to cook, like food and stuff? Like
Yeah, it's chemically very very similar to natural gas, and so yes, you can use it to cook. You can use it to power engines. I've tested it in all these ways, and of course you can use it to refine. So like as a burner, fire, flame.
All right, those were my questions, man. Honestly, you answered it all completely.
Hey, thank you so much, the boy McFly. I would say up to this point tonight, when it comes down to I guess you could say people with critical questions, you have had the best and strongest ones. So thank you so much. And hey, it's a great learning experience for everybody. So I appreciate you. And what did you mean by master debate, by the way? Because that sounded a lot more like Diddy activities to me.
Nah, I just heard that that's how you say it. Like I think it was like a term from South Park that they used it.
Wait,
Master debate
is your
people.
first language is your first language English?
My first language is Spanish, man, but I learned English to the
Muy
point that I
bien.
have an accent.
¿De dónde eres?
De México, Colima, México.
Oh, excelente. ¿Sabes que he estado aprendiendo español por mi cuenta durante los 10 meses?
Eso es mucho tiempo, ya casi un año.
Oh, know. Yeah,
That's
and
an
well,
idea.
let me give
Then
you a tip. Never listen to anybody telling you that you should that anything that said in South Park is what people say. Because what I thought you said was something completely different than what you meant.
oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
never
strictly
trust South
scientific.
Park.
All right. I won't do it again.
All right, man.
That was a
Hey,
nice meeting, man.
you as
Cool.
well, man. Take care. Have a good night.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's so funny because I thought we all thought he was just like joking when he said, "I want to master debate." That is hilarious. Somebody really set him up to fail like that. Somebody really set him up with failure in mind. De mi habla español no muy mucho. You should more. De bas mucho. De bas habla español mucho. Okay, so Ron, I don't know if Ron is in this chat yet, guys. I haven't seen him. Worman A or Worm 758. These names. Hey, same thing to Worm 758. You can come in here in the Discord Q&A if you have questions. Hey, Amulet, that was funny, right? Bandito. Okay, Bandito. Yeah, Bandito. Yes, you can go. Let me let you up, Bandito. You said this guy said Griftoline deodorant. Hey, wage slave Uranus knife. Why does everybody always have such a weird name? Look, once again, same thing. Discord link if you want to come in here. All right, Bandito.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I am actually. It's an honor to talk to you. I've been researching you since like, since like last year, and I just commend you on what you're actually doing. You're doing what many people are afraid to do. But with that being said, I'm just gonna get right to the point. I don't mean to sound disrespectful in any way, but it's just more like a concern that I had. Obviously, about last year when everyone thought that you basically died because you didn't respond, but then you explained why. I just need to ask the question. As I'm sure you know, right? Everyone who tries to do these things, like I'm sure you heard about the guy who tried to create how to create a water car, and supposedly he just disappeared or whatever, right? I guess what about with your situation? I mean, have you already had that type of situation already technically? Because I guess what I'm scared for you is just that these big boys that are threat, it's like you're a threat to them, and then they're gonna think that everyone makes a joke. You are not suicidal, but I like your honest opinion about what it is. I already know that you already stated that it doesn't matter what happens to you. You're going to change the world no matter what, and that is such a great thing. But I wanted to actually ask this honest question because I feel no one's been asking this. I feel, and I wanted to actually ask this myself, if it's cool with you.
So, what exactly is the question? It's like, what am I? Because you said, I've already said I'm not afraid. So, like, what exactly is the question?
I guess what is your responses to all these people who state all these things?
Oh, I mean, I understand
higher up.
where people come from. I mean, even if it wasn't me turning plastic into fuel, we just seen over and over again in the world. If you have people that are standing for things that could really, I guess you say, open people's minds to new perspectives, there's always a risk of more powerful forces in the system if that's conflicting, conflict of interest. So I guess for me, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think that it's doing anything. I think that it's just words. At the end of the day, like, people can say this, but it's like I think actions are the only thing that matter. So it's like kind of like me. Like I see the plastic problem, I hate it. So I actually wanted to go and build a machine. A lot of people online that may say, "Oh, protect this man at all costs." Where it's like, okay, well, what's being done, right? Now I will give it to a lot of my audience. A lot of my audience are real ones when it comes to doing things, and I've seen that myself because I put out the word for like, hey, we're building Mark V. I'm letting people help me, and people really come through. But at the same time, I like I said, like a lot of things online are just said just to say, I think a perfect example is like right now. Like we have right now, I'm on Discord for a live debate actually with people, and we have people like in the YouTube chat who are trying to debate with me on the YouTube chat, even though I literally set up all this Discord stuff specifically for people to debate me here. And so that's the point I'm trying to make, where it's like a lot of people online will just say things just because they could type behind a keyboard, and there may not be any meaning behind it. So from my perspective, if I see people saying things like, "Oh, this dude is not suicidal," or this, I mean, like I said, I already understand what I'm doing, and in some ways how it could be dangerous. But I also feel like a lot of times it might just be more of like a trend. People are just saying it because they see other people saying it, and it really doesn't mean anything. So to me, it really doesn't mean anything, because like I'm like, hey, I'm just here to do the actions. Like whether it's dangerous or not, whether I'm this or that, or like I'm just here to actually turn plastic into fuel, bring people together, educate people on it, and nothing's gonna really change that because I've already blown myself up. I've already had, Black Hawk helicopters fly over my space. I've already had crazy cyber attacks. So at this point, the mission just needs to be done either way.
That's an amazing response, man. And like it's true, because I mean, let's be honest, right? I mean, if everybody was afraid to doing something, then there would never be any change, and you're basically doing that. That's great. There was Is it okay if I can ask you one more question?
If it's quick.
Sure. I remember in an interview, I don't remember where, or you mentioned this, but you're actually taking action of, they're trying to change the world. But I remember you were stating that sometimes, like, I think you said that you reached to one of like the big people who actually try to do, like, to try to help the world. Like, for example, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, hey, maybe if you show up in a Mr. Beast video, because I know he does a lot of philanthropy. But I mean, I'm not sure if something like, if say if you contacted someone like him that try to help with your vision in this case. But you stated that, like, I guess my only question to you is just, has there been any updates about those big boys? Have you had any actual responses? Because apparently you said that you tried reaching out, but it's like they don't actually do it, or they don't actually try to work with you and stuff. Has that changed, or no? There's no change in this case.
Hey, shout out to Ian Martinez. He said he's watching on both platforms. Yeah, nah. When I first started a few years ago, my actual goal was, hey, I want to get in the eyes and get reached out to by this big YouTuber or this big person. Hold on, I hear something. Oh, let me mute your mic. There's something. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I wanted to get get viral videos or get outreach until I get in the eyes of the right person that cares about philanthropy or helping things to make it work. And something I've realized, actually being in the industry of social media influencing, and also having, like, I think my biggest video on TikTok has like 74 million views. So like and then I've of course been featured in World Star and in the Daily Mail, in so many publications. So at some point you get in everybody's eyes. And what I had to realize was that a lot of stuff that you think is real is not, and a lot of people you think are actually like philanthropists or doing things for the environment and stuff really don't care that much, and it's really more of an image thing. And I don't necessarily say that from an envious or jealous standpoint, or like a bitter standpoint of like, this person didn't work with me, so they have to be evil or they have to be this. But I'm just saying that it's something I've realized because I've interacted directly with many people who will directly come to me and say, hey, and these are like, these are people that have resources or know people who or maybe they themselves are big in the influencer world or celebrity world or Hollywood, and they'll say things like, hey, I want to help. And then when I actually tell them, okay, let's do it, like let's put together this plan, let's actually get to work, it always goes silent. And that's just a consistent thing because it's so good, it's so easy to do something for image, but then when you actually need to do it, that's when it gets real. It's like what I was telling you guys when we were talking about this other guy or these other YouTubers I used to watch that do pyrolysis or that did pyrolysis, and they all kind of stopped or disappeared. It's because like when you actually gotta get down and do the real work, it's not always fun. It's not always a trend. You're not always making money. Oftentimes you're losing money. And oftentimes sometimes it's not even good for your public image. You know, like you get blown up and stuff. So like, that's what it is. I think a lot of the time, a lot of these people just want the image of caring or doing something good, but they don't want to actually put in the real work and effort that goes to like really making the change. And I found a lot more reliability in just people like you and me. You know, that's why I'm out there right now in Woodstock, Georgia with Mark V, inviting people. We have people, we've had a guy drive from Ohio to come work and help on Mark V, a guy flying from Dallas, Texas. So many people from Georgia driving an hour, driving 2 hours. Somebody drove from Savannah, Georgia, 5 hours to get out there and help. And I just, from my experience working with actual everyday people, is far more reliable, and you get far more passion and realness and none of the fakeness that you get when you work with other influencers or celebrities, because all these people are in the game for the wrong reasons. They're in the game just to make money or just to have clout, when we're trying to actually really make a difference. So yeah, that's the point there. But thank you for your question. I gotta move on to some other people here because we got a few more. But yeah, man, take care.
Thank you, sir. I was gonna say I appreciate your time, and
For
actually,
sure.
I'm gonna buy your deodorant, by the way.
Hey, thank you so much for that. Yeah, yep, jabberumba.com. I appreciate that, man. We ship international. Yep, take care, man. Bandito, have a good night. I guess I should have asked where you're from. Yeah, philanthropy did start as a public relation things from the Rockefellers. Exactly, JC 1095. A lot of philanthropy is just a great way to to get rid of your taxes or to lower your taxes and to appear like you're giving. But you get to give to causes that are controlled. So that can be, hey, I'm giving to this university to research AI because I am a tech company. See, so that's philanthropy. I'm giving to a university, but you can see how it's all a big freaking just excuse my French here, but it's a big circle jerk, really, because it's like, okay, I'm giving to something that's gonna make me more money, and now I get to pay less taxes, and that's how all this stuff really works. And now they get the image benefits, the tax benefits, and they get free research. They get free research that they get to control. It makes plenty of sense. And then they get to fund what they want researched and not fund what they don't want researched. So maybe we're not going to fund startups that might somehow be able to be a healthier alternative to AI or to petroleum everywhere or plastic everything, right? Because that's not going to make us money. So a lot of this stuff is a scam. And I think what people need to remember is that influencers are really the new Hollywood. So like we had Hollywood, we had the celebrities. We all know how these people are all just like, kind of puppets in a way. Influencers are the same. And you're not going to get away with that just because this is an influencer that you watched from since they were small. That's how all these people started. And I guess that's kind of ironic because I'm talking, and at this point, I guess I'd be considered a bigger influencer. But I just say, hey, don't listen to what I'm saying. Just look at my actions, because I'm still doing the exact same work as I was when I started, the exact same way. In fact, I'm involving more people, and I'm going to put out a book of the blueprints, right, to keep it, to give this to everybody. And so, hey, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing, the actions. You shouldn't have to ask if somebody has all these resources and all this money. You shouldn't have to ask what they're doing, because at the end of the day, if somebody that really wants to make a change is going to do it without the resources and without the money, and so they certainly would do it with the resources and with the money. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. So we'll do. Let's see. Austin Wilson, I did let you up already a little bit earlier. We'll let it Morris Bogan and Korn. So we did have one guy come up with a few good debate questions. Look, Morris Bogan and Korn, I'm gonna let you guys up. But in the meantime, anybody on YouTube do you guys want to come up and you guys have you guys have any type of debate questions before, because these are going to be the last two Discord people we lit up. I guess I'll let Austin up afterwards. Morris Bogan, how you doing? Hello? Hello, Morris. All right, I did not hear you. We will switch to Corn. And Morris, when you get your audio situation ready, you can raise your hand again.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. Awesome. So I'm not a debater. I'm not a chemist. I'm none of this, right? So this is something. This subject has kind of just popped onto my radar, and I just happened to have some questions. So I saw that this was in my YouTube subs, and I clicked on, and here we are. So
awesome.
It's really nice to meet you, man. It really is. It's a pleasure to speak with you, dude. I'm really excited. So, all right, my first question. Um. So you're doing this project kind of like out in the wilderness. You're like building a van, a bus with the project is going to be in there, and it's all kind of homebrew, right? We can agree on that. So I really want to understand what makes what you're doing different, like in terms of the actual, like the true meaning behind it, right? Like the development of the technology, right? I think that's what you're doing, right? You're just trying to develop the technology to make this more efficient, so that this can be right. We can agree on that.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay, so what makes what you're doing, a homebrew project, different from multi-million-dollar companies who spend millions of dollars developing this technology and hiring researchers and scientists with extremely high salaries, versus Kickstarters and volunteers in a deodorant fund?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it makes a lot of sense too, because it's essentially kind of thinking like, well, how in the world could I ever do or come up with something that these multi-million-dollar funded projects can't?
Yeah, like you don't have any like degrees or certification or any real experience, as far as I know, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm self-taught. I'm only
Yeah, you're a self-made man.
Yeah.
Versus like a team that has thousands of employees and millions of dollars worth of like resource, right? That they're pumping into this technology. And there's private companies out here too that are self-funded, right? There's just billionaires out there who are passionate about the same thing that you are, who are doing the same thing that you are doing. So I'm just trying to understand what you're doing is how is that like different or extraordinary in any way?
So yeah.
Besides the fact that you're doing this, in your backyard, and that it's all homebrew and stuff.
Right. Yeah. So in terms
of developing the technology. Go ahead.
From that perspective, the relativity of the scale in which I'm doing things compared to what these companies are, it's definitely not revolutionary in that way. In terms of, if we're talking purely about scale, of course, a lot of people see the revolutionary side of it in the sense of being, well, up to this point, we've only ever seen this type of stuff being tackled by these big companies or people funded and backed in all these ways. But then this individual is going at it. But of course, I think that's that's more of a perspective based versus in actual just the facts. And if we're talking about the facts, I would say one of the biggest advantages I have over these type of companies or any type of big backed funded operation is my speed and the agility. And what that is when you have these really big backed and funded projects, or maybe it's a university study, there's a lot of rigidity. So for example, if this project was funded by investors that wanted to figure out pyrolysis, that's done traditional pyrolysis, right? Well, if in the middle of me researching traditional pyrolysis, I'd figure out that microwaves are better, I can't just switch the project over, because I have to appeal the original funders or how the original grant was written for this type of research. Versus, since I don't have that, that's exactly what happened to me. I was doing regular pyrolysis and I realized I think microwaves are going to be better, and I just completely switched to 180. Then I was doing microwaves for a while and I realized, wait, why aren't we powering this off of solar? I just completely switched then I made it under vacuum, then I made it continuous. And so what I have over these companies, they can take, so like let's say if it comes down to a competition, they're building a microwave pyrolysis reactor and I'm building a microwave pyrolysis reactor. They will beat me every time, and they can do far more research on their machine than I could ever get out of mine. But what they won't be able to beat me in is if it turns out that there's some particular reason why that microwave pyrolysis reactor could be majorly improved upon. Like, for example, when I first built my first few reactors, they were not under vacuum. But then when I built the last machine, the last prototype, Mark 4.5, I put it under vacuum and it changed so much for the better, right? I'm able to just do those quick changes, quick 180s, because when you build these machines at huge scales, if you want to make a huge machine and switch it from being under positive pressure to vacuum, it could literally cost millions, because you got to change all these pipes, all these things. So I kind of have that advantage compared to the big funded things of being able to just quickly and cheaply completely change in 180, kind of do this little pioneering and frontiering research into the best approach. And the best advantage I have over research labs that operate at a smaller scale is that I'm in this perfect medium where my machine, so like if you do a lot of research into university-backed pyrolysis studies, a lot of their machines are tiny. So tiny that like they're literally processing like a few chips of plastic. Like they're processing a few grams of shredded plastic at once. That's not actually practical. And so they could do all this research they want on this tiny, tiny thing. Like, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you how small it is. If you do a lot of reading on the microwave pyrolysis of plastic waste research papers, and they're telling you, this university in this country did microwave pyrolysis, they're literally putting shredded plastic into a glass vial. That's how small it works.
Okay.
Scale, right? And so the minute they try to scale that up, it changes. But I'm at this level where my machines are actually making a practical impact on plastic waste, and it's already at this scale that could be scaled up or scaled down.
Okay. I completely agree with you, man. I mean, that's entirely what the homebrew process is about, is having full control over the process and being able to just change things at a whim, not having to rely on hearing back from this person or that person to make a decision on one little thing, right?
Right.
So I have a couple different rebuttals, right? So we're talking about scale. Let's just say 10x, okay? Let's say a company has 10x the money, 10x the employees, 10x the research power, so on and so forth, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I work in the semiconductor industry. I'm not sure how it is in other industries, but semiconductor is kind of leading edge in the frontier of tech, would you say? Right?
Yes.
So, right, yeah. So everything that we have, our iPhones, our computer screens that we're looking at, this all depends on the technology that I am familiar with working around, okay?
Right.
So the thing is about this technology and the industry as a whole is it's extremely cyclical. And what that means is that it's constantly changing. And they hire people called process engineers who their entire job is to speed up the process.
Right.
So I'm just trying to give some examples to you. You know, they have process engineers, they do have research departments. Another thing is just because they're building something on a small scale doesn't mean that they're not doing anything big with it. They're probably just trying to research better efficiency. Why would they build something ginormous, right, when they could just work with something small?
Right.
That's what R&D departments do. So, yeah, do you have anything to say to that?
Yeah, I just, and the thing about a lot of these companies is that a lot of the R&D is, behind closed doors. So we don't know what they're doing, and we don't know, what's out there. I only know from what I've seen and what I've read. And from my perspective, I just see a huge lack of creative approaches to pyrolysis. Like, it kind of going back to what I was saying earlier.
Well, I mean, you can't see the research department, so I mean, you don't really have that point with you.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly why I emphasize
you don't see all the shit they're throwing at the wall, but we can see all the shit you're throwing at the wall. So I mean, yeah, you have that point.
Right, and that's contributing to a ton of research, because what we also don't know and what we don't see is how many points, or not how many points, but how many people are taking my research, my failed and successful research and doing their own things off of that. So I'm taking an open source approach. So like, for example,
Okay, but I mean, let's think back to that 10x scale. You know, let's just have 10x the amount of people doing exactly what you're doing, who are classically trained in exactly the science, the material chemists that are out there, you know, the process engineers who are trying to speed up, and the people who literally dedicate their lives to this, you know, and work with a huge team, you know, and they're doing it for a living, you know. So how is that any different versus somebody who's selling deodorant and getting funded off a Kickstart, you know?
Well, it's still massively different
It
because
just seems like one person's just benefiting off of the masses versus somebody who's doing it for the love of the game. You know what I mean?
I would say it like this. Once again, you
Seems
have
like you're
this
benefiting
tendency-
off the masses,
okay,
whereas the
let me
person who's a
if you would
research
let me
engineer getting paid
answer-
$60K a year, going into his office every day to do what you're doing, but like actually 10 hours a day, you know?
Well, yes. Okay. All right. Well, listen. All right. Please let me respond to one point
ahead.
at a time here. So once again, going back to what I was saying to you is, yes, these teams are bigger than me, and when it comes to pinpoint research, of course they're gonna always beat me because they have more funding, they have more minds behind it. But that's kind of the very issue, because when you have such an organization like this, you have 10 organized minds. They have to all be kind of working towards the same thing for it to be most efficient. And so what I'm saying is
That's not how scientists work. They're competing with each other.
Hey, listen, please. You have to let me talk, all right? Because I'm letting you talk, get your point across. I need to at least be able to finish my point so you can understand what I'm saying, so we can have a rebuttal. But
Just saying, okay.
But what I'm saying is they can spend 10 times the amount of money, 10 times the amount of research and time and brain power just to figure out you need to shift, right? That's why pyrolysis has not been a mainstream technology, right? Versus in my case, I'm using way less resources to be able to figure out what needs to be changed. And I'm utilizing the ability of the people to be able to help me understand how things need to be changed. It was people online that helped me put the machine under vacuum. People online that helped me suggest to use solar panels. These people have to stay and remain within a vacuum and an echo chamber because they're trying to stay hidden under patent or secrecy laws, which is kind of ending up choking out their own process, because a lot of these research and development things end up getting their funding cut because they're taking too many years to figure it out, and that's why we haven't seen a lot
There's
of this
private
stuff come to fruition.
companies. There's private companies. So you said the reason this technology is inefficient is because they're constantly trying to shift and try different processes. That's why the technology is inefficient. It's not because it's not economically or environmentally viable yet.
I believe that the process is environmentally viable for sure if it done properly through microwaves and solar, which is why I'm focused on that right now.
Okay. All right. I have one more question. In the couple debates ago, I think it might have been the last debate. I'm not sure, but you were saying that natural gas is a byproduct of your whatever you're making, your gas.
Yes, a natural gas alternative. Yes.
Natural gas alternative. What is
Yes.
that? What chemical is that?
So the composition is based off of course, what's put into the machine. For the most part, you're going to be getting hydrogen, propylene, butylenes, as well as a few other lighter chain hydrocarbons with, usually about around, you're going to have, the range is going to be about like 3 or 4 chains to them. So they're all light chain hydrocarbons because these are hydrocarbons that cannot condense into liquids again.
Okay. I'm not a chemist, so I don't really know what any of those words mean, but could you just explain for me, are any of those like necessarily carcinogenic or toxic?
So most light chain hydrocarbons are not. That's not usually an issue for those. So when you're looking at things like the propanes, propylenes, butylenes, these are all lighter. So when I say lighter chain hydrocarbons, that basically just means things that are permanent gases, pretty much. And most of the time, they're not. And so the plastic made natural gas byproduct is usually not something that will contain many highly carcinogenic compounds. Because what ends up happening is this, right? These hydrocarbons are such short chains and structures that when it's burned, they burn so cleanly. So like, for example, the flame that, the flame that comes off of propane is blue. The flame that comes off of natural gas is blue. The flame that comes off of this plastic natural gas alternative is blue because it's going through nearly complete combustion, meaning that the only emissions are for the most part CO2 and water vapor. And so you're not dealing with incomplete combustion products that would be carcinogenic.
Okay. So I'm going to just guess that you're familiar with this YouTube channel, Mass Spec Everything. He did a lab analysis on your product.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him because I sent him my products directly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think his main takeaway that there is a way too much, let's just say that, of chemicals that are composed of benzene, which is just one of the most carcinogenic and cancerous chemicals known to mankind. And so I'm just curious what your thoughts on that were.
Yeah. So we were actually talking about this earlier. So yes, there. So he found a lot of benzene in my samples that I sent. Now there were a few things in his testing equipment which I would say were not the fairest in that analysis. However, he did show without a doubt there is benzene. And the thing about benzene is the boiling point of benzene. Well, for one, benzene is a liquid, and so it's normally found in like gasoline type products. And the boiling point of benzene is close to water and gasoline. And as we know, I make gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel from the plastic. So firstly, the benzene content in the diesel and the jet fuel is going to be negligible. There'll be almost no diesel in those, just like or no benzene in those, just like how there's no benzene.
Yeah, they have like a regulated amount you can have in there, right?
Yeah,
it's like
there's a regulated amount.
0.005 per million or something.
The point I'm trying to make is
I have no
this.
idea.
Here's the point I'm trying to make. Benzene is already a product that's in crude oil and gasoline as is, and that's why they have a regulatory. Because if you were to just get what they call straight run gasoline, which is when you have crude oil and you distill it and you get pure gasoline coming right off, right? Straight run gasoline has too much benzene in it for today's standards, right? Back then they used to run it in engines. That's at the same time they're putting lead and stuff in. But the point I'm trying to make is gasoline already has a benzene content that has to be reduced. Diesel and jet fuel, usually that's not an issue at all. So the point I was trying to make earlier, and the point I did make earlier was when it comes to the benzene product, let's say it turns out the benzene product is way too high in specifically the plastoline or the gasoline alternative. Okay,
Yeah.
Here's the thing about benzene, right? Yes, you're right. Benzene is a carcinogenic chemical, but it also is considered a base chemical, meaning it's a chemical that's used in the manufacture of thousands of different things in the world. And so there's plenty of uses for benzene to be used, even if.
What does that have to do with it being carcinogenic?
What was that?
What does that have to do with it being carcinogenic and existing in your plastoline at dangerously high amounts?
With it being carcinogenic. The point I'm trying to make is, if there's too much in the plastoline, we're distilling anyway. So I can distill the benzene out. That benzene is now a separate product that's a valuable commodity product. The benzene is used.
Yeah, I got you. So we have a like government regulation or whatever. The gas industry has a regulation. I don't know what it is, but they have a regulation to like keep a certain amount of benzene out of the gasoline, so that when we burn it in our cars, we're not breathing cancer gas, right? So how far are you along distilling that benzene out of your gasoline?
Well, so as it stands, when you're doing distillation, you have these things called like azeotropes and all, which is when, for example, like gasoline and water, that's oil and water, and they can come over together. Sometimes the same thing can happen with gasoline.
From a
benzene,
scale of,
well,
from
listen,
a scale
you can't ask
of,
me a question and then when I'm answering it, you start talking again. I have to.
I just need a better answer.
Yeah, that's the only way we can have a back and forth here. If I can answer.
My apologies.
So to answer that question, as it stands, the process of distillation I'm doing now, it's separating the benzene out from the diesel and jet fuel as is. It is staying within the plastoline or gasoline product, yes. However, going back to what I was saying, dependent upon the percentage of benzene, that's going to dictate how easy or difficult it is to separate it out of the plastoline, because the more you have, the easier it's to get out, and the less there is, the harder it is to get out. That's why there's a certain percent that's even allowed in gasoline to this day, because at a certain level you can't,
you can't get it all
below
out.
this percentage out.
Yeah, you can't get individual atoms. Yeah. So
well, it's not an individual atom, it's a completely separate product from the gasoline, but they have very similar boiling point ranges.
okay, so you haven't gotten the benzene out of your plastoline, yes?
No.
Okay, so my question to you is, we have these regulations so that we don't die from cancer when we're breathing in these gases that are emitting from our cars. How do you feel about you using this gas in an enclosed space? I believe it was like a Dodge Charger or something, with like a bunch of fans around you who probably give you money, and you're just pumping the space that they're breathing full of benzene gas.
Well, so here's the thing about benzene. Benzene is a carcinogenic compound, but that's benzene within its full form. That's not the combustion of benzene. If you look up the combustion of benzene, you get CO2 and water vapor, neither of which are carcinogenic. So if benzene is put into an engine, right, and that engine, and it undergoes combustion, right, especially in modern engines, right? That's the whole point of catalytic converters and the modern engine technology of O2 sensors and all this. Just because there may be benzene in the fuel does not mean there's benzene in the exhaust, right? That's not how that works. Because, like I said, there's a certain percentage of benzene that's even in gasoline. The reason why we don't want benzene in gasoline is more of because of the exposure to gasoline, like when you're pouring it. Like,
okay, gotcha.
But the actual exhaust does not necessarily mean it's going to have benzene in there.
Okay. Is there anything that could potentially be harmful coming, out of the exhaust pipes of the cars that you're testing? Have you tested that or looked into that at all?
There definitely could. Just like that, there's harmful things out of any exhaust pipe. You definitely should not have a vehicle in an enclosed space running for long.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking from a perspective of, we have gasoline that is very clean and regulated versus plastoline, which is very.
But that's the thing.
Not.
Gasoline is not very clean. It's not, and gasoline is only as clean as the engine that's burning it. That's why I could put gasoline inside of a cup and burn it outside, and the smoke is black. But if I put it inside of a vehicle with the proper modern engine technology and catalytic converter, you won't see any smoke come from it. So
it's not made from plastic though.
But just because it's made from but crude oil is what makes gasoline, and plastic is made of crude oil. So all I'm doing is going back to the chemical, basic chemical building blocks. So just because it's made of plastic does not mean it is plastic, right? I'm just returning it into what it was originally created from, which is crude oil, just like how gasoline is.
Okay. With a lot of potentially harmful things as well.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is when you're in organic chemistry, right, and you're looking at hydrocarbons, especially from crude oil, at the end of the day, these things there's kind of like a pool. So, like, we have gasoline, but gasoline is not one compound. Gasoline is literally like 1,000 different hydrocarbons that all have a similar boiling point range. Benzene is one of those products. So when I'm making these things from plastic, I am turning the plastic back into crude oil, and then I'm distilling a whole bunch of the similar boiling point ranges that we classify as. What I'm trying to make is, yes, of course, there's going to be some things in there that are more toxic than others, but these are the exact same problems that we run into with crude oil, and we already have solutions for these things, because I'm not creating, just because it's made from plastic does not mean I'm creating brand new hydrocarbons that have never been seen before. I'm taking hydrocarbons from the same pool of hydrocarbons that exist, that just happen to have been locked up in the form of plastic, and I'm unlocking them back into a fuel form and a chemical feedstock form.
Cool. All right, well, that's all I got. I would just want to say, I would look into that, see if there's any potential harmful, because we were talking about plastics and the chemicals that are composed into it. It's very bad for you. as far as my research goes. So that's my only suggestion, is to maybe look into more of, see if there's any sort of harmful side effects. This is only because that's my only real concern. That's it. That's the only reason why. But other than that, it was a fucking pleasure, man. Yeah, dude. Good luck and stay safe, man.
Hey, absolutely. And this year, once Mark V is built, there will be plenty more analysis that will be done on the way.
Yeah, dude.
So thank you.
Looking forward to it, man. All
Yeah.
right. Take care, brother. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you as well, and thank you. All right. Hey, that was a great way to end the night. So we had, I would say that was two good little debate sessions. Thank you very much, Corn. And then the other guy, the boy McFly, thank you both for stepping up and to have some critical conversations with us on the first critical conversation of 2025. Everybody, this is going to be a weekly thing. Every Wednesday, right here on YouTube being live streamed and on Discord, we are going to have these critical conversations. So anything that you may not have heard addressed that you would like to address directly with me, you have the opportunity to next Wednesday, 7 p.m. EST. Thank you all for tuning in. Those of you that want to support Mark V, you can go to natureJab.com/Mark5. We have an Amazon list there of parts that we need. We have a donation portal there as well. And you can also fill out a form if you want to directly work on the machine. But yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you so much to everybody who made this possible tonight. And I will see you guys next time. What's up, Ironwork? You said your touchdown in Atlanta. Oh, yeah, I'll talk with you, man. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. And we will get on with some more people next time. So I'll see you guys. Also, everybody in Discord, we will be doing a Q&A on Monday in here as well for people that just have regular questions. Monday, 7 p.m. We'll get that link started. But yeah, I'll see you guys on YouTube next time. Much love, everybody. Thank you, K-Cell, on the YouTube for the